Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today you're checking out my top 10 tips for beginners in ESO. So if you're starting up the game for the first time or maybe just starting up a new character, this might be the video for you. Last but not least, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I do have lots more guides and build videos on my channel, and more are always coming out every week. So 10 tips, here we go. Alright, so coming in first at number 10, let's get started. Pretty simple, do the quests. So when it comes right down to it, ESO is an Elder Scrolls game at heart, and that means there's quests. And while a lot of the quests are kind of basic and forgettable, I would say, the main storyline quest and the faction quests and the DLC stories are pretty amazing. So don't cheat yourself by avoiding quests in ESO for, the purpose of power leveling. You should really take your time to try the main quest, do those faction quests, try out the new chapters, the DLC stories. When you have the time, I think you'll be glad that you did, and the experience that you get is not half bad either. Up next at number 9, we've got Explore and Discover. And now that we have access to multiple DLCs and chapters, the world of Elder Scrolls Online is absolutely huge. And just with questing, exploring the world, and seeing what is out there is definitely worth your time as well. Exploring is going to help you advance your character through the finding of these sky shards, which translate into skill points. Each zone in ESO has anywhere from like 5 to 10 sky shards, so get moving on those. And towns and dungeons also have bookshelves, which contain lore books, which are another way to advance your skills basically for free. So make sure you check out every bookshelf too. If you're a PC player, definitely check out some of the add-ons available that show you those sky shard and lore book locations. If you're on the console, it's going to be a little bit tougher. Just grab a map online to help you out as you go. So at number 8, we've got upgrade your mount. And with such a huge world in ESO, travel speed is definitely a big concern. And that's why mounts and mount training is important. There's lots of different mounts you can get, a lot through the crown store, through loot boxes, and even a basic horse that you can earn for free at level 10. But every mount is then affected by your character's own riding ability. Riding speed, riding stamina, riding capacity. These you actually have to pay for. You have to train for them at the local riding trainer. So every day that you log into ESO, just make sure you're hitting that riding trainer, putting in your daily point. I do recommend maxing out speed at first, as this seems to make the most difference overall. So for number 7, let's talk about PvP and the benefits. It starts at level 10. You'll get a letter in your inbox. You join a campaign, any campaign you want. Join up and start the initial getting started, the Welcome to Cyrodiil quest. This is just a fun quest. If you've never done it, it takes you through kind of the basics of how PvP works, how siege weapons work. You'll go around on a couple of the Transitus shrines, and the reason why you want to do it is you actually get 2 free skill points right away. So really great for advancing your character early in the game. You'll also get access to rapid maneuvers, which if you haven't heard of that, it's a 30% movement speed boost that you can use while running or while on a horse. So I definitely recommend doing just the initial quest, spend those 10 minutes, get your assault tree and your support tree, and if you don't want to do any more, don't worry. Number 6, loot and sell everything in this game. There's a lot of loot in ESO, not all of it is really useful, but what it is good for is just selling and generating gold for your character to buy other things that you need. So basically, the idea is never destroy anything. You're either going to deconstruct it for crafting or sell it like I'm doing here at any merchant, any town. Will give you gold back for everything. The nice thing about hitting the merchant every once in a while too is you can repair your gear as well, which is another important way your character stays alive in ESO. And that brings us to number 5, which is you need to upgrade your space. 2 kinds of space you want to look at. First, your inventory space and then your bank space. Inventory is definitely the easiest and cheapest. You can just go to any bag merchant in a major town and upgrade that 10 slots at a time. I definitely recommend you do that up to about 100 or a little bit more, depending upon how much gold you want to spend. And then if you have extra gold later, you can also look at upgrading your bank space. Coming up on number 4, we're talking about the guild skill lines in ESO. Super important to do as early as possible, and the reason why is that if you don't do it early, you may actually lose some of the progression that you're earning along the way. So you want to make sure you unlock these first before you leave the main area of the game. Basically, you go to each of the 3 guild leaders, talk to one of the people there, and they'll unlock the quest for you. Pretty simple. You want to do Mage's Guild, look for that on your map. Fighter's Guild is also going to be on the map, and you can unlock that there. And then the Undaunted just kind of depends on the faction that you're in. Sometimes they'll be in a bar or something. They're not too hard to find. Basically, you talk to these 3 folks in each of the guilds, say, hey, I want to join your guild, and then voila, you've got the guild skill line unlocked. You can find those sort of at the bottom of your list under guild. Number 3, you want to remember to use consumables in ESO. Consumables are either food or drink and other buffs that have a sort of long duration on your character, but they're really powerful. So we want to make sure we have those active all the time. You can see I have an experience buff here and a food buff active. The way you get food buffs, food or drink, is there's a couple ways. You can get it through daily rewards. You can even get these in the crown crates. If you open those are pretty common. You'll get like a food item or a drink item, which as you play early on, they're actually pretty useful. So you want to keep those up as much as possible. There's some that you can even buy really cheaply. I'm just going to show you quickly on a merchant. You want to look for consumables on a merchant and then look for purple quality, and these are usable starting at level 1. Okay, so you don't have to be a certain level for all of these. Some consumables are leveled, but the purple variety in a lot of cases start at level 1, and the amount of stats that they give you scale up based on your level. So either the Witch Mothers or the Dubious Cameron Throne are really great. You can use those at any level, and you can see they only cost like 200 or 300 gold. There's the Spring Loaded Infusion is another one. You can even look for, in the drink menu under the gold quality, you can look for experience potions here as well. The other thing that I just wanted to mention is potions in general. You want to use these to help keep your character alive in combat. You've got the basic, health, stamina, magicka potions. You just slot those up, put it in your quick slot menu, and you're ready to go. You can also get free potions, again, from the daily rewards, and just have those active, and you just push that button on your quick slot and you're good to go with those. Number 2 is going to be join a guild, and obviously playing with others is a big part of any MMO, and so that's why we have guilds in the first place. It's great for joining groups, doing dungeons, trials, things like that, but some of the just basic benefits that help early on in the game is traveling to players in your guild roster. You can just go to your roster, select any person, and travel to them for free, as long as they're online, so that's definitely a big help. The other one is, depending on your guild, you might have a guild house or a guild residence where the guild leader or people in charge might have different things for you to use, like crafting stations, bankers, merchants, things like that. So that's also going to be a huge help early on when you're starting the game. And last but not least, being in the guild is a great way to sell your stuff. You might have a public guild trader as part of this guild that you're in, and you might have to pay some dues possibly, but this is a great way just to put your stuff on the market, sell it for any price you want, forget about it, and then get some gold later on as those items get sold. And our number 1 tip is going to be level your skills with a plan in mind. And what I mean by this is, a lot of players that I watch starting early on, they'll just do, like, let's say you're a stamina build and you just put nothing but 2-hand abilities on your bar. What you really want to do is look at your class abilities first, okay? Make sure you have one of each class skill line on your bar. Okay, that's going to take up 3 slots. But what's great is you're going to level those up equally. Then you can do your weapon skill lines. I actually have 2-hander here. Even though I don't have it equipped, I can put a 2-hand skill and still level up the skill line. I'm doing the same thing with Restoration Staff, having that on. Now I can't use the ability obviously, but this is what I mean by planning ahead. I want to use Resto Staff eventually, maybe as a back bar. So early on I'm going to have that slotted. Same thing with 2-hand. And something that a lot of people don't know is the weapon that you're using also levels up the skill line even if you have 0 abilities. So I can just use my flame staff by itself, no abilities, and I'm leveling that up as well. So instead of just leveling up 1 or 2 skill lines at a time, try to level up 5 or 6. Think about what you want to use in the future. I do have a guide for this on my channel. I'm going to go ahead and link to that now. So check that out if you're interested in the best way to level skills. And with that said, that's going to wrap it up for our top 10 tips for beginners in ESO. Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a thing or two. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for new ESO videos every week. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.